Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are doing fantastic today, and welcome to our presentation on Amtrak vacations and the life on board with Amtrak vacations. Very exciting topic, one of my favorite topics to go over. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nick Bennell, and I have proudly been with Amtrak vacations now for just about 6 years. A little bit about myself: I am a world traveler. I've been to quite a few places. I've had the experience to utilize train all throughout the world. I've done trains in Europe. I've done trains extensively throughout the United States and throughout Canada. So it's something I'm very passionate about, and I'm very excited to bring you all of this wonderful information today. Stay tuned towards the end of the presentation, as we'll have some exclusive discounts for all attendees, as well as one lucky person will win a $100 Amtrak Vacations gift card. So definitely exciting. Don't forget to download the handout where that top arrow is pointing. It's going to have a lot of great information about what we got going on. Especially, we just put out a whole lot of new national park packages, so that handout will highlight a lot of those. As well as if you have any questions throughout the presentation today, please feel free to input them into that questions box where that bottom arrow is pointing, and I will be more than happy to answer any and all questions throughout the presentation today. So let's hop right into it, and first and foremost, ask ourselves, why Amtrak vacations? Well, there's several reasons for that. First and foremost, traveling by rail is a bucket list experience. In fact, we surveyed all of our travelers last year as to why they chose traveling with Amtrak and Amtrak vacations, and the number one consensus answer we kept seeing was that it was a bucket list trip. If you think about it, you all have done the ocean cruises. You've done the all-inclusives to Mexico and the Caribbean and to Hawaii. You've done those European and Asian escorted tours. You've gone to Disney World, and now you've conquered river cruising, and you're looking for that next adventure. Something fun, something different, something unique. The rail can satisfy each and every single one of those needs. There's room to roam. Take away no about being cooped up in an airplane for hours on end or on a motor coach where you can't get up and move around. With Amtrak, it's the exact opposite. You actually have the ability and the freedom to move amongst the train. You're actually encouraged to freely move amongst the train. Get up, move around, visit the cafe car, visit the dining car, or visit my personal favorite, the observation car. And we'll touch base on that in just a little bit. There's less hassle. There's none of this business about checking in 24 hours ahead of time or showing up 2 to 3 hours before your departure like you would with a flight. No. How does 45 minutes to an hour sound? I can tell you that is the average time people will typically show up prior to their Amtrak departure, truly making it as hassle-free and as worry-free as possible. City to city service. Now, this is one thing I love as Amtrak goes from downtown to downtown. There's no need for those long airport transfers. Sometimes you fly into a place and lo and behold, you have up to an hour-long drive to get you to where you need to be. Where's the fun in that? That's not vacationing. Well, with Amtrak, we go from downtown to downtown. Look at New York Penn Station. It's right in the heart of Midtown Manhattan. Look at Chicago Union Station, which is Amtrak's hub station. It's right in the heart of downtown Chicago. Or Los Angeles Union Station, which is right in the heart of downtown LA. We can put you where you want to be right off the bat so you can start your vacationing and your sightseeing off on the right foot. Satisfy your hunger. Now, this will touch base on just a little bit later. I just want you all to know, just whenever you upgrade to any of the sleeping accommodations on board Amtrak, meals are automatically included, and you won't want to miss out on that, as the food on Amtrak is truly delicious. And we're going to touch base on that in just a little bit. And lastly, flexibility. One of the best parts about our vacation packages is they have the ability to really travel when you want to travel, as they operate almost daily. With just the exception of a couple of our seasonal national park packages, almost every single package we offer operates on a daily basis. It's not like the cruise lines where there's select sailing dates or the escorted tours with the select start dates. You can travel when you want to travel. Now, I love showing this map because it really amazes me at how extensive Amtrak's system really is. In fact, Amtrak services 46 out of the 48 continental states here in the U.S., with the exceptions of 2 states, South Dakota and Wyoming. And last year, Amtrak set their ridership record with over 32.5 million passengers. To put that into perspective, if Amtrak was an airline last year, Amtrak would have been the 6th most flown airline in the world. Definitely goes to show you that rail travel is in demand, and there's no time but now for you to experience it firsthand. Now, you might ask, Nick, where can I start one of these wonderful vacation packages? Well, guess what, everyone? These packages can start at any of the 500 Amtrak stations throughout the United States or Canada. Or alternatively, if you wanted to fly to your start destination and or fly home from your end destination, you can completely do that too. I think about 61% of our clients will fly at some point on their Amtrak vacation. It's completely up to you. Now, some things to consider about when traveling by train. Simple. Do you not like to fly? I can tell you this slide speaks volumes to me. Reason being, my sister does not fly at all, absolutely terrified to fly. She has to rely on taking the train whenever she wants to go on vacation to get to the different destinations that she wants to vacation to. She doesn't want to drive. Why put the miles on your car? Why put the, waste money on gas, parking, tolls, and deal with traffic when you could kick back, relax, and let us do the driving for you and really be able to enjoy the scenery that you pass through as the train passes through some of the most beautiful landscapes here in the United States. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you can start your rail vacation at any of the 500 Amtrak stations throughout the United States and Canada. In fact, there's 3 points of entry into Canada with Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal. And throughout the United States, there is bound to be a train station by your hometown, and you are absolutely able to customize your rail vacation to start and or end your rail vacation at your local train station. Now, I mentioned customizations. Well, keep in mind, everything that we can do can be fully customized to your liking. Perhaps maybe you want to take one of our itineraries that we already have and you want to add nights or remove nights to it. Add another destination or remove a destination from it. Maybe you want to do a trip in reverse. Maybe you want to do just a portion of a trip. Maybe you want to just modify it a bit. Maybe you have a dream trip in mind that we might not necessarily offer and you want to see that trip become a reality. We can make that happen as everything we offer is fully customizable. And another really great means of customizing is combining trips. Perhaps taking our, like you see right on your screen, our Rails to the Grand Canyon trip, which is one of our most popular Grand Canyon itineraries. Maybe take that package. Maybe you want to add a couple extra nights while you're up at the Grand Canyon South Rim. Maybe you want to stay at the El Tovar, which is one of the most majestic lodges in any of our national parks. We can do that. And then maybe on the back end, you want to add in a stay in Los Angeles. You figure you might as well. You're in that geographic region. Why not spend a couple nights in a hotel in Los Angeles and do a sightseeing tour of the City of Stars? I can tell you tons of people will do trips like that. Another great example is taking our Glacier National Park Express, which is 2 nights in Chicago, 3 nights in Glacier Park, and 2 nights in Seattle, and combining that with our Seattle, Vancouver, and Victoria rail journey. Perhaps you've never been to the Pacific Northwest and you want to see 2 of the best cities up there in Vancouver and Victoria. By all means, people will do this all the time. Keep in mind, you can absolutely combine these itineraries and customize and tailor make them to your liking. So let's hop right into some of what it's like to be about the life on board the train. And the first thing I want to go over is packing for the train. Now, take what you know about the airlines and picture the exact opposite, because the luggage on the train is absolutely fantastic, and it's the most generous in the travel industry. Each passenger is allowed 2 pieces of carry-on luggage, up to 50 pounds each bag, 2 pieces of check-in luggage, up to 50 pounds each bag, as well as a personal item. So figure along the lines of a backpack, briefcase, pocketbook, purse, or even a small duffel bag. And the beauty of all of this is luggage can be checked in up to 45 minutes prior to your scheduled train departure. It's not like the airlines where you have to be there 2 to 3 hours ahead of time, 45 minutes prior. So there's really no need to rush. It's truly a hassle-free experience. Good luck finding this policy on an airline, really, because think about it. Most airlines at this point are charging at least $25 for 1 checked bags. This is all standard on board Amtrak. Now, you're gonna hear throughout the presentation me talking about coach and sleepers and things of the sorts like that. So let's hop into what all of that's all about. And the first thing we're gonna highlight is coach seating, which, as you can see, is a pretty standard seat on board the train. But take what you know about airplane seating and picture the exact opposite, because the coach seating on the train is absolutely comfortable. It's unlike any airplane seat. The seats themselves are typically double the size of your standard airplane seat. They recline at a 45-degree angle. And they also have a leg rest as well. And the legroom is uncomparable. In fact, last year I traveled with one of my colleagues who's 6'6". He could fully stretch his legs out and still have room to spare. Once again, good luck finding that on the airlines. And if you do, you're going to be paying quite the premium for that. Now, coach seating is great. However, meals are not included and shower access is not included. So if you are going to be doing a night or more on board the train, you're probably going to want to eat. You're probably going to want to take a shower. So we can upgrade to the sleepers. But before we go over that, just keep in mind, one of the best parts about the train is you have the freedom to get out of your seat and move around the train. You don't have to be confined to your seat like you would in a motor coach or an airplane. You're absolutely able to go around, visit the different cars, and mingle with your fellow riders. Now, the upgrade from the coach seats are the roomettes. Now, the roomettes are by far the most popular type of sleeping accommodation on board the train. During the day, it's two big seats that face each other with a big picture window in between and a fold-out table in between. At night, the two seats convert to the lower bed, and right above where this lady's head is, the top bed pulls down. Now, I do want to make note, with the roomettes, meals and shower access are absolutely included. However, the bathrooms and showers are located down the hall. And yes, they are private but shared. So what does that mean? Yes, you will be sharing them with the rest of the people that have roommate accommodations in the same car, but it's private. Once you're in there, you're in there. There's a lock on the door. It's not like a college dormitory where people are coming in and out. And the neat thing is, it's a full-size bathroom with a full-size shower. And I can tell you, taking a shower on board the train is quite the experience in itself. In fact, there is nothing better than taking a shower at 80 miles per hour. Now, you might say, Nick, this sounds wonderful, but is there a way I can get my own private bathroom in room? By all means, yes. We can upgrade you to the bedrooms. Now, the bedrooms are a little bit bigger than the roomettes, and it's a bit of a different setup. So during the day, it's more of a sofa-style seating, like where that lady is sitting, with an extra captain's chair as well, with the fold-out table and the big picture window in between. At night, that sofa-style seating converts to the lower bed, and right above where this lady's head is, the top bed pulls down. In fact, let's take a look at what that sleeping arrangements look like on board the bedrooms in the train. Yes, they're very comfortable. I can tell you, sleeping on board Amtrak is actually quite relaxing to me. I equate it to sleeping on a cruise. If you've ever been on a cruise, that gentle motion, that gentle rocking, it's really relaxing. It puts me to sleep like a baby. So I always, always highly recommend sleeping on the train, as you do get, I always get a really great night's sleep right on board the train. It's very relaxing. So the bedrooms, you absolutely do get the same amenities as you would with the roomettes. So you get, your meals included on board the train. You get coffee and water, bottles of water included, your linen, sheets, towels, pillows all included. But the bedrooms do come with a private toilet, sink, and shower in room. And this bathroom is in room for your use and your use alone when you have the bedroom accommodations. So let's move on to my favorite part on board the train. I'm talking about the sightseeing lounge car, otherwise known as the observation car. This really is the best spot to be on board the train, as this really is your front row seat at seeing those amazing landscapes that can only be seen from the train. It has floor-to-ceiling windows with a glass dome top, and the seats actually face outwards towards the windows. I can tell you, every single time I've been on the train, other than to eat, sleep, or shower, I do not leave the observation car at all, because it really is the best spot on the Amtrak train. And the best part about it is there's no reservations necessary, and that everyone on the train has access to the observation car. So it doesn't matter if you're in coach seating, it doesn't matter if you're in roomettes, bedrooms, or the family rooms. If you're in any of the different types of sleepers on the train, you have access to the observation car. So you definitely would want to make sure you can snag a seat early so you don't miss out. Now, I do get the question, is it impossible to ever find seats in the observation car? I can tell you personally, every single time I've ever been on the train, I have never once had an issue getting space inside the observation car. However, usually during peak travel season, so like late spring through the summer and early fall, on the more scenic routes, especially out west, Amtrak typically will assess a second observation car to meet the demand of the traveler. So keep that in mind, absolutely, that if you are traveling during that time frame, usually they will put on a second observation car just to meet the demand of travelers. Now, directly below the observation car is the cafe car, which offers additional seating and booths and things like that. Some awesome sightseeing down there as well. If you sometimes you want to be up in the observation car, maybe you can't find space, you can always go down here. It's an extension of it. Now, down in the cafe car, they do have a snack bar, and what they do down there is they'll do candy, chips, and assorted snacks. If you want to get like a sandwich or a hamburger or a hot dog or a slice of pizza, they have them down there as well. This is also the spot if you wanted to get a soft drink or a beer, a wine, or a cocktail, you can get it down here as well. I can tell you one of my favorite things to do is when I get onto the train and the train starts moving, I go inside the observation car, I go downstairs to the cafe car, I grab myself a glass of red wine, I head up to the observation car, open up shop and take a seat, and I put on my headphones and I read, and I truly enjoy this relaxing experience. It's one of my favorite things to do on the Amtrak train. So definitely highly recommend getting that experience in. And of course, we have dining on board the train. I can tell you, the food on Amtrak is phenomenal. Now, we're going to pick on the airlines again. Take what you know about airline food and picture the exact opposite. Because the food on Amtrak is absolutely delicious. And you'd be amazed at the quality of meals that are freshly served on board the train. I'm talking about for breakfast, for example, there's pancakes or waffles, bacon and eggs, omelets. For lunch, there's juicy cheeseburgers, grilled chicken salads, pasta dishes. Or for dinner, there's fish, there's chicken, and there's Amtrak's main dish, which you can see right on your screen. I absolutely love it. I've had it 2 nights in a row once, and I thought it was delightful. You have the Amtrak signature steak. It's really great. And the whole process about dining on board the train is really nice. As soon as you board the Amtrak train, the dining and get to your room, the dining car attendant will come by, set up reservation times that you want to eat your meals. When it's time to eat, you head down to the dining car, take a seat in one of these big, comfortable booths, the little white linen tablecloth layout. It's really nice. And you get to order from a menu and from a server like you would at a restaurant. So really, if you think about it, Amtrak isn't just for transportation. It really isn't. It's a restaurant, a hotel, and sightseeing all on rails. And it's all rolled up into one amazingly unique experience that you're all going to love. So, with all of that said, let's hop into some of our top itineraries that really highlight the benefits about being on board the train. You get to see some of the most scenic routes. And of course, the first we're going to go over is our Grand National Parks that features the Grand Canyon, Yosemite, and Glacier National Park. Now, this is by far one of our top itineraries that we have to offer. And the reason being is A, it utilizes some of the most scenic routes on board the Amtrak system, but B, you also visit some of the most iconic national parks here in the United States. So this trip, for example, we start off out of Chicago, and we do the overnight train from Chicago down to Williams, Arizona on the Southwest Chief. That train ride is fantastic. I've done it myself in its entirety, and I absolutely loved it. The scenery, especially in southern Colorado and New Mexico and Arizona, is unbelievable. So we'll take the train down, do the overnight train from Chicago to Williams, Arizona. When we get into Williams, we will do one night at the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel. The next morning, you will hop on board the famous Grand Canyon Railway, which is the antique steam train that will take you from Williams, Arizona up to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. Now, that train ride is amazing, and I love it because it adds another train experience to a train vacation. So if you think about it, not only are you getting the Amtrak experience, but you're getting that classic antique steam train experience as well. And there's a reason why this train has been operational for over 110 years. It actually passes through the largest of the ponderosa forests in the state of Arizona. Once we hop off the Grand Canyon Railway, we will be up at the south rim of the Grand Canyon. And when we get up to the south rim of the Grand Canyon, we are met by a motor coach for a guided Grand Canyon South Rim tour, which will highlight a lot of the key sites up at the Grand Canyon South Rim. And then after the tour, you'll check into your hotel, which is one of the lodges in the Grand Canyon Village at the South Rim. So you get that experience of actually spending time and staying up at the Grand Canyon South Rim, which is pretty neat. After our stay at the South Rim is done, we will then hop back on the Grand Canyon Railway, take that back down to Williams, where we'll then board an evening train, an overnight train from Williams to Los Angeles on the Southwest Chief, where we'll arrive the following morning. In Los Angeles, we are going to switch trains, and we're going to switch over to Amtrak's most scenic train. In fact, it's been voted the most scenic train in North America the past 3 years. That's right, we're hopping on the Coast Starlight, and we're taking it, leaving in the morning time out of Los Angeles, and later that evening, you will arrive into San Francisco. And when we get into San Francisco, we are going to do 2 nights in a downtown San Francisco hotel. While we're in San Francisco, you will get a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of San Francisco, which will take you around the city on a big loop, and you can get off and on as all you want at all the different sites and attractions that San Francisco has to offer. And while we're in San Francisco as well, we will also get the highlight of it, a full-day guided tour to Yosemite National Park. Now, you won't have to worry about getting yourselves to and from the park. The tour will pick you up, drive you out to the park, and you will get a full-day comprehensive tour of the Yosemite Valley. How cool is that? After our fun in Yosemite and San Francisco are all said and done, we're then going to hop aboard the Amtrak Coast Starlight, and we're going to do an overnight train, leaving San Francisco and arriving the following evening into Seattle, Washington. Now, when we get into Seattle, we will do one night in a downtown Seattle hotel. The next day, in the morning and afternoon, you'll have an opportunity, and it includes tickets to the Space Needle, Seattle's most iconic landmark. It's seen right on your screen. You'll have an opportunity to go to the top of that. And then later that evening, we will then hop aboard Amtrak's most northern route called the Empire Builder, and we're going to do an overnight train from Seattle to Glacier National Park, where we will arrive the following morning. In Glacier Park, we will do 3 nights at the famous Glacier Park Lodge, which is the oldest and most historic of the Glacier Park Railroad hotels. So we'll get to do 3 nights there. While we're up at Glacier, we have 2 tours included. We have, first off, the Two Medicine Valley Boat Cruise, which is a boat ride through Two Medicine Lake in the Two Medicine Valley. It's a really, really, really beautiful and peaceful area. And on that tour, too, you actually get an optional hike as well. So if you want to do some hiking, you definitely can utilize that. And the second tour you get is the Big Sky Circle Tour. Now, the Big Sky Circle Tour is the main tour of the park, which is a full-day tour that utilizes the Going to the Sun Road, which is the main stretch of highway that runs right through the middle of Glacier National Park. This tour is by far the most comprehensive that Glacier Park has to offer. And the neat thing is, for the tour, you actually get to ride in these World War II era extended out open top red Jeeps. They're called the Red Jammer buses, and they are famous in Glacier National Park. After our 3 nights in Glacier Park are all said and done, we are then going to hop aboard the Empire Builder once more and do the overnight train from Glacier Park back to Chicago. So this trip is a 2-week-long trip, 14 days, 13 nights. We get round-trip service in coach accommodations on the Grand Canyon Railway. We get the Motor Coach Freedom Tour of the South Rim. We get the sightseeing tour of Yosemite National Park, as well as a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour while we're in San Francisco. In Seattle, you'll get admission to the Space Needle. And up at Glacier Park, you get the Big Sky Circle Tour and the Two Medicine Valley Boat Cruise. Overall, it's 8 nights hotel, 5 nights on board the train, and yes, those 5 nights on the train are in coach accommodations, which we can absolutely upgrade to the sleepers. You're going to want to, as you'll get a private room with beds, shower access, and your meals on board the train included. Now, maybe necessarily you like the idea of this package, but you might not just want to visit the national parks. Maybe you just want to focus being on the train. Well, keep in mind, we have some really amazing packages like our Northern Rail Experience. In fact, we have a whole line of rail experience packages. Now, these packages are all about the journey rather than the destination. So we tend to keep the hotel and destination stays at a minimum on these packages, where the true focus is being on the train as much as possible. This is by far one of our most popular itineraries. This trip starts off out of Chicago, and we do the 2 nights on the Empire Builder in its entirety as we go all the way from Chicago to Seattle, where we arrive 2 days later in the morning. When we get into Seattle, we will do 1 night in a downtown Seattle hotel, and while we are there, we will get a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour, which will take you around Seattle on a big loop, and you can get off and on as you please at all the different sites and attractions. Once our fun in Seattle is all said and done, we will then hop on board the Coast Starlight, the most scenic train, and we're going to do an overnight train, departing out of Seattle in the morning and arriving into San Francisco the next morning. And when we get into San Francisco, we are going to do 2 nights in a downtown San Francisco hotel. And while we're in San Francisco, we get a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour, as well as we get a day tour of both Muir Woods and Sausalito. So you get to see the giant redwood trees of Muir Woods, as well as the coastal town of Sausalito. And then this is all capped off by doing a San Francisco Bay cruise. Once our fun in San Francisco is all said and done, we will then hop aboard the Amtrak California Zephyr, and we're going to do the 2-night train from San Francisco all the way back to Chicago. Now, I can tell you firsthand, I just did this train myself about 2 months ago, and the scenery is unbelievable. Especially, it passes through the Colorado Rockies and the Rockies and like the mountains of Utah. That stretch is absolutely beautiful. So highly recommend hopping on board that train if you ever get an opportunity to. You won't be disappointed. So this package, everyone, 9 days, 8 nights. We get hop-on, hop-off tours of both San Francisco and Seattle. We also get the guided tour of Muir Woods and Sausalito, as well as we also get the San Francisco Bay Cruise. We get round-trip Amtrak and coach accommodations. It's 3 nights hotel, 5 nights on board the train. And yes, those 5 nights on the train are once again in coach seating. This is definitely a trip you'll want to upgrade to the sleepers, where you'll get a private room with beds, shower access, and meals on the train included. Now, maybe you just don't want to do a trip that's long. Well, keep in mind, we can do some really amazing quick getaway trips as well, like perhaps our most popular seasonal national park, which is Glacier National Park. And you can want to do our Glacier National Park getaway round trip from Chicago. Now, keep in mind, this trip does say it starts in Chicago, but keep in mind, this trip can be picked up out of anywhere. It's just Chicago is Amtrak's hub station. So we can absolutely start this package anywhere. And this trip does an overnight train on the Empire Builder from Chicago to Glacier Park. We do 3 nights at the Glacier Park Lodge, and we still get those 2 tours as featured on the previous package of the Big Sky Circle Tour and the Two Medicine Valley Boat Cruise. And then after our 3 nights at the Glacier Park Lodge, we will then hop back on the Empire Builder and do the overnight train back to Chicago. So keep in mind, Glacier Park season is by far the most limited out of all of our national park packages. Their season's actually only from about mid-June to mid-September. And the reason for that is simply because, yes, it is in northern Montana, so yes, it does snow about 9 months of the year up there. So Glacier Park year after year, I've been here 6 years, sells out well in advance. So if you are looking to go to Glacier, highly recommend booking it as soon as possible. Now let's head south and pay a visit to our most popular seasonal national park, that being the Grand Canyon. It's our most popular year-round national park, rather. This is by far the best. It's actually the most visited national park here in the United States, and this is by far our most popular package for the Grand Canyon. It's our Rails to the Grand Canyon. It's a 5-day, 4-night package. We do 2 nights hotel, 2 nights on board the train on the Southwest Chief. It starts out of Los Angeles. We do the overnight train from Los Angeles to Williams, Arizona, where we arrive the following morning. In Williams, we'll then hop on the Grand Canyon Railway and head up to the South Rim, where we'll then have that guided tour of the Grand Canyon South Rim, and we will also do 2 nights up in one of the lodges in the Grand Canyon Village. From there, we'll then take the Grand Canyon Railway back down to Williams, where we'll then hop aboard the evening train, the overnight train on the Southwest Chief back to LA. Round trip in coach accommodations on the Grand Canyon Railway. The Grand Canyon Freedom Tour, it's 2 nights hotel, 2 nights on the train, and yes, the sleepers on the train are in coach accommodations, which once again we can upgrade to the sleepers, where you'll get a private with beds, shower access, and meals on board the train included. Now keep in mind, everybody, you can absolutely upgrade to hotels that work best for your needs. We work with hotels ranging from 3 to 5 stars. So we really have different types of hotels that can really cater towards any type of traveler. And some other really popular vacation destinations as well that we've been seeing is, of course, Chicago, the Windy City, Amtrak's hub city. This is our most popular package for Chicago, so keep this in mind if you do want to go visit the best and see the best of Chicago. It's a Chicago Ultimate Getaway. It's 4 days, 3 nights right in downtown Chicago. While we're there, we get a multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour, which will take us around Chicago on a big loop, and you can get off and on as you please at all the different sites and attractions. It also includes the Chicago City Pass, which will get you admission into a ton of Chicago's top attractions, such as the Shed Aquarium, which is the second biggest aquarium in the United States, the Sky Deck Chicago, which is the observation level atop the Willis Tower, formerly known as the Sears Tower. It's the second tallest building in the U.S. We also get admission to the Field Museum of Natural History, which is by far one of my favorite museums I've ever stepped foot in. Absolutely love that museum. You also get admission to the Art Institute of Chicago, the John Hancock Building Observatory, or even the Adler Planetarium, which is the oldest planetarium in the United States. On top of all of this, you get dinner at a popular local restaurant. I highly recommend the restaurant we work with. It's called the Italian Village Restaurants, which are actually the oldest Italian restaurants in the city of Chicago. I've eaten there myself quite a few times, and they are absolutely delicious. If you want some true authentic Italian food, look no further. And of course, lastly, Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, one of our most popular destinations, especially if you're trying to go through in March and April during the Cherry Blossom Festival, as we have some really amazing packages based around that time. And this is by far our most popular package that you could utilize. It's our Washington, D.C. Ultimate Getaway. It's 4 days, 3 nights. We do 3 nights hotel right in downtown Washington, D.C., right where you want to be in Capitol Hill or the DuPont Circle area. While we're in Washington, we will have a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing trolley, which is the trolley that'll take you around. You can get off and on as you please at all the different sites and attractions. While we're there, we also get admission to either the International Spy Museum or the Newseum. Now, the Spy Museum is all about the histories of spies and espionage, and they have a really fantastic James Bond exhibit. They have a lot of the props and weapons and costumes, and they even have some of the James Bond cars at that museum. Or you can go to the Newseum, which is all about the history of news and the mass media in the United States. And they actually have some really fantastic artifacts from some headlining stories throughout the years. On top of that, we get my favorite tour. Now, as I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the presentation, I have been all around the world. I've been to a ton of different countries and had the privilege of doing a ton of amazing sightseeing tours. This one still stands out to me as one of my favorite. It's the Monuments by Moonlight tour. It's a nighttime tour that will take you by some of the famous memorials and monuments of Washington, D.C. You get to see them all illuminated and lit up at night. It is absolutely stunning. It's really inspiring. And if you ever go to Washington, highly recommend utilizing this tour, as you will not be disappointed. Now, we have barely scratched the surface of what we can offer to all of you as far as with Amtrak and Amtrak Vacations. If you pay a visit to our website, you'll be able to see everything we have to offer. And there's a couple different ways to see all the packages we have. You can first off utilize this top part where this red arrow is pointing and hover over that Destinations tab. From there, that will drop down and you can literally navigate through by destination and seeing all the different packages we have to offer. Or you can utilize this middle section where this red arrow is pointing, and you can search by destination, by specific train route, by top stations, as well as your geographic area. And while you're on our website, please feel free to check out the trip planning section. It really is one of the best spots on board the website, as there's so much useful information before you start planning your trip, or even know before you go in regards to meals and dining, luggage guidelines, accessibility and special needs, as well as the onboard the train experience. In fact, if you clicked on that tab where it says onboard the train, from there you can go through and you can utilize our Amtrak virtual experience, which will actually offer you 360-degree views of every single room and car on board the Amtrak train. It will even offer rooms so you can see actually some really great first-person perspectives of what it's like in each room on board the Amtrak trains. Now, how do you book with us? Easy. There's 3 ways. You can give us a call at 1-800-268-7252. One of our amazing vacations consultants will be more than happy to help you plan your dream rail vacation. You can book through our website at amtrakvacations.com, or what I always recommend, give a call, or better yet, pay a visit to your local travel agent. They will be more than happy to help you plan your dream rail vacation. I can tell you firsthand, I've been in the travel industry for just over 10 years, and I still utilize my local travel agent, as they truly are the best resource out there to help you plan any vacation. I love my local travel agent. They've helped me plan some really amazing trips around the world, so I highly recommend utilizing them as well. They'll help you out. And keep in mind, everyone, we have some really great everyday discounts as well. If you're traveling with any children ages 2 to 12, the children get a 50% discount off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. If you're a senior traveler age 65 and over, you get a 10% discount off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. As well as if you're active duty military, you, your spouse, and your dependents get a 10% discount off the rail portion of a package, just as a thank you for your services. And folks, keep an eye peeled to your emails, as you will be getting an email from us that has a really wonderful upgrade voucher attached to it. So if you do want to utilize one of our packages, keep your eyes peeled to your inbox, as you're going to get a really wonderful promotion on there. That promotion will be valid until December the 27th. So keep in mind, you're going to get this. Highly recommend utilizing it. Get the head start for booking for your 2019 vacation packages. You won't be disappointed. Utilize that promotion. As well as, don't forget to download the handout where that top arrow is pointing, as there'll be a lot of great information on some of our brand new national park packages that we have to offer. As well as, if you have any questions, I've seen tons of questions pouring through throughout this presentation. So if you have any questions, please input them into that questions box where that bottom arrow is pointing. And I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. But before I answer any questions, I have to name our winner of a $100 Amtrak Vacations gift card. Today's lucky winner of the Amtrak Vacations gift card is going to be, drum roll, Cecilia Miner. Congratulations, Cecilia. Job well done. And for the rest of you, if you do have any questions at all, please input them now. I'm going to scroll all the way to the top, and I'm going to start asking questions. Let's see, Dolores. We'll be traveling on the 13 days Grand National Parks, Yellowstone, Yosemite, Grand Canyon, Chicago, the Grand National Parks itinerary. Can you give us some tips for the trip? Yes. You're going to have a blast. I actually was just in Yellowstone myself. Be prepared to take pictures. That's the only thing I really think I could definitely suggest for any of these, especially a trip like that. Make sure you have a phone charger, or you make sure your camera's charged and has batteries. The scenery on that is absolutely unreal. Yellowstone was absolutely amazing, and I highly recommend it. Just have fun. I mean, it's a really fun experience, especially being on the train and visiting the different parks. So I'm actually pretty jealous of you. That's going to be an awesome time. Let's see. What do we got? Robert is interested in taking a train trip that involves several nights on the train. What is the longest train route that I several nights without having to switch trains? I mean, it honestly can vary. I would definitely take a look on our website at our rail experiences, as they're probably the ones that are best suited for you. We do have a really neat one called our Grand Rail Experience, which actually does like a giant circle throughout the United States. You almost hit every single corner of the continental U.S. So that would definitely be my suggestion, perhaps, or the Northern Rail Experience. Let's see. Robert, do we get a copy of this presentation to look at later? Yes, this will be up on our blog on our website. So if you pay a visit to our website at amtrakvacations.com, tomorrow afternoon it should be up. It's at the very top. You'll see a link that says blog. You click on that. This presentation will be up there tomorrow. Norma, can you bring service animals on the train? Yes, it has to be a service animal with paperwork. So it has to be like a service dog with paperwork and everything. It can't be. Unfortunately, there's no comfort animals allowed on board the train. It has to be like a working service animal with legitimate paperwork. But yes, service animals are absolutely allowed on the train. Cecilia, on the Northern Rail Experience, does the California Zephyr portion cross across the Rockies in the daylight or the overnight? When I did it, it passed through the daytime, and the scenery was absolutely stunning. So, highly recommend that. Yeah, you're absolutely going to love that, especially the real height of it and towards the tail end of Colorado. The scenery is unbelievable. Jose, what about the trip from Vancouver all the way to Niagara Falls? You can absolutely do that. We do have packages based off the Via Rail, which you can definitely utilize, and you can do a cross-Canada trip. It's about a 4-night train ride from Vancouver, BC, all the way to Ontario. Linda, let's see. Linda, that's pretty, yeah, let me take a look. So Linda has several questions. She has clients that she has people that she'll be traveling. My apologies. She'll be traveling from Chicago to Seattle with a stop at Glacier Park. Are there stations along the way that she can get off and just walk around for a few minutes? Not really, unfortunately. I mean, so the longest stop will maybe be like 15, 20 minutes, but nothing enough that the smokers can go outside and have a smoke. If non-smokers want to go outside and stretch their legs, get some fresh air, they can definitely do that. She also was wondering if there's pictures of the shower facilities in the sleeper cars. Yes, that would be all on our website under the onboard the train experience under trip planning. Yes, and she's also asking about if you can bring snacks and drinks on board the train. Yes, you absolutely can. In fact, Amtrak has no problem with bringing your own snacks and drinks on board the train. For drinks, soft drinks are allowed no matter what. So if you want to bring some soft drinks, but if you did want to bring on board your own alcohol, so beer, wine, or spirits, you can, but you have to have a sleeping accommodation. If you're in coach seating, you cannot bring on board your own alcohol. If you have a sleeper, by all means, you can bring on board your own booze. The only thing is it has to be consumed in the privacy of your own room. You can't bring it out into the public areas. Let's see. These questions are coming in fast and furious, everyone. Let's see. I have a question. Lynn, I'm confused about how the showers work. Do you reserve a time for a shower? Stand in line? How the shower is cleaned between each use? Yeah, so the showers are very well taken care of and maintained. Same with the bathrooms. The car attendants do a really great job at keeping them up clean and tidy. You don't have you just go whenever you need to take a shower. You don't have like a reserved time to use the showers because there's a couple different per car. There's like a couple different showers on there. I can tell you, out of all the times I've ever been on the train, I have never once had an issue finding time to take a shower. I've never had to, wait or anything like that. Whenever I want to take one, I head down and I take one. I've never had an issue about waiting. Mary, when in a roomette, can you access your luggage during the trip? Also, bike lock, mentioned on the Amtrak site. Yeah, you can definitely I would recommend using a lock on your luggage, most definitely. I do that anyways, wherever I travel. But in the roomettes, do you have access to your luggage? So if you checked in your luggage, it's much like flying. No, you don't have access to that during any portion of your travels. But if you say if it's a carry-on, by all means, there's luggage racks on the lower level of the roomettes, on the car of roomettes, that you have access to at any point. You can go and you literally access your luggage at any point. What I always recommend is bringing a small duffel bag into the rooms with you with a lot of things that you'd want to have offhand. So medication, a change of clothes, pajamas, toiletries, whatever. And definitely bring that so you don't have to keep going up and down the stairs. Dolores, is there luggage lockers in the Chicago Union Station? Yes, yes, there is. I can tell you that from firsthand experience several times. There is luggage there, and especially if you have the sleeping accommodations, Dolores, able to utilize the Metropolitan Lounge in Chicago Union Station, which is kind of like the like you know like the airline clubs at the airports. It's actually pretty neat. They just redid it about 2 years ago, and they dropped a couple $1 million into renovating it. It's looking really, really nice. So what it is, it's like a nice like kind of lounge area where there's chairs, couches, big TVs. There's also complimentary soft drinks and snacks in there. But there is a luggage check area inside the Metropolitan Lounge, so if you do have the sleepers, you can definitely utilize that. Linda, how do you get up to the top bunk in sleeper cars? There's like two steps that you are able to hop up. So you step up one, hop up to the other. It sounds much harder than what it actually is. I can tell you, my mother, who's about 73, she was kind of worried the first time she ever took the train. She actually was amazed by how easy it was, and she has two bad knees, so she got up and down with perfect ease. Norma, is there vacation packages for the Greenbrier in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia? Yes, there is. We work directly with the Greenbrier to bring those packages to life. Susan, are there only bunk beds? Any double beds for handicap or seniors? Unfortunately, it is all bunk beds on board the train. What I would recommend if you do or are worried about trying to get up into that upper bed and you do want two lower beds, what I always recommend is getting two roomettes across the hall from each other. Now, it sounds that's going to be it's going to be tricky, but it isn't. Actually, the hallway with the roomettes is actually pretty narrow. So if your travel partner is across the hall, you can still converse with them and talk with them at a normal volume. You don't have to yell because the hallway is pretty narrow. And the really neat thing about that is not only will you save money, but you'll also be able to have views on both sides of the train, which is pretty neat. It's definitely one of the benefits of having the two roomettes. So let's see what else. I think I have one more question. Elise, what about round trips to Seattle to Canada? Yeah, I mean you could do a quick little trip from say like Seattle up to Vancouver, or even if you want to go to the Canadian Rockies, we can offer that as well. Same thing with Diane. Diane, I see you asking about Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is a really popular destination for us year round. So definitely if you needed packages to Niagara Falls, Canada, and now we actually just put out packages about a week ago for Niagara Falls, New York. So we can absolutely help set that up for you. Absolutely. It looks like we might be out of questions. Does anyone have any last minute questions for me at all? No, thank you, Dolores. And I want to thank you all. Oh, Niagara Falls from New York, New York. Yeah, you could definitely do that, Lisa. There's tons of that's one of the easiest routes. You could take the Maple Leaf from Niagara Falls or New York City, right from Penn Station, and take that right up to Niagara Falls, Canada. It's about you leave about 7:30 in the morning, get to Niagara Falls about 4:30 in the afternoon. You can absolutely do that as well, Elise. Most definitely. It'll take about 3 nights to get out there, though. Elise is asking about Seattle to Niagara Falls. Mary, are tickets all electronic or paper? We work with e-docs, so they're all electronic documents. So you should get an email from us that has your train docs on there, and you can print that out. Or if you have a smartphone, you can even utilize that through your phone. So it looks like we're out of questions today. So I just want to take the opportunity to thank you all for joining me this afternoon. So we do these presentations literally every 2 weeks. It's really exciting. So every 2 weeks is a different topic. So please feel free to join us. Our next one should be after the new year because we have the holidays and everything. So definitely feel free to join us for that next one, and we'll be more than happy to join us and learn a little bit about what we got going on. So if you are interested in getting options, have any questions, or if you do want to book, please feel free to call that number on your screen or give a call or pay a visit to your local travel agent, and they will be more than happy to take care of you. So I just want to take the opportunity to thank you all once again. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to learn about what we got going on. And in the meantime, I hope you all have enjoyed the rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And until next time, everyone, especially have a happy holidays and a wonderful new year. And we'll be chatting soon. Until next time, everyone. Bye-bye.